Okay, continuing off of the last video on how to win, a couple weeks back I asked you guys what concerns or questions you had regarding the Featured Dojo contests, and I got a lot of good replies, and I hadn't answered any of them just yet, so I wanted to pull this aside to answer these for you. Rasim asked, how can I join a contest and what should I build to impress the judges? I already covered kind of what you should go for in the earlier video. As for how to join and submit for a contest, I'm going to cover that in another video shortly after this. Conde Amor says, one question regarding on recording Dojo videos, how do you disable the interface and crosshair in-game? The video I released immediately prior to this was the one that covered your question. Padre Odin says, it would be nice to know a list of standards they use to grade us on. I can't necessarily tell you that. I can tell you what I believe they do. I know that might seem like an oxymoron since I was part of the judging process, but I just have things that I can't say and things that I can. He goes on to ask a couple questions about like videos that I would think shouldn't be questions, but I see enough people ask these questions that I'm going to go ahead and answer them, and I hope to God I never see this again. And he said, can we edit the videos to have special transitions, like shortcuts between pictures or videos? Yes, you can. You can have like a dissolving transition, or you can have a fading transition, etc., and that's fine. But if you add like any amount of editing work into it, then that's not going to be allowed. You can add titles, which is your next question, in the video. That's fine. You can say this is my clan, etc., bold across. And that's okay. Can we add any music to the video, or does it have to be a Warframe soundtrack? This seems to be a very common question that I don't understand, because you guys don't have to worry about copyrighted music unless you're monetized. But I only know of one other dojo person that makes YouTube videos that actually is monetized besides myself, and that's Ajangom. The rest of you don't have to worry about it at all. You'll get copyright claimed. That's not a copyright strike. Those are very different things, and I guess I'm confused why you guys are getting hung up on that. It can be any music you want, and it's fine. Just make sure that it's not blocked in Canada. Can we add our voice to tell a story while the video is playing? You can, but I don't recommend it because that's just hella awkward. What will make us be disqualified? Anything vulgar or suggestive. If you have a dick and balls, that's going to get removed, has been removed. I've seen a dojo where there were two statues fucking. That's probably going to get removed as well. You shouldn't do that. There's a lot of different stuff, but basically you have to go out of your way in order to make that happen. Dire Rear phrases this not so much in the form of a question, but as a theory and an observation. He goes on to say that I think that they save participants for a contest, so maybe they'll have a good entry in one contest, but it's maybe just not quite good enough to win. They'll save them for the next contest without letting them place at all, and then suddenly give them first. But Dire, that's not how it works at all. I can't say much, but I can definitely say that no one is saved. Every winner wins on a case-by-case basis. No one is saved at all. Like, it's not like we're gonna set someone aside and bring them back so they can get first place this other time. They can't do that to begin with because they can't count on people coming back. I had a little mini discussion with Helen about this, not quite this topic exactly, but about people coming back. And she just said she just wishes there were a lot of people in the first contest, like 640 something entries, and the vast majority of those people never came back after the first contest, and I don't know if it's because they just quit playing the game or if they had their pride hurt, but a lot of them, like, if they could come back, they would have a decent shot. There was just so many people in that first contest, but other than just wanting people to come back, no one is saved. 210 Tiger says, I feel really proud of a few rooms or areas in my dojo, but I haven't really done anything incredibly exciting with many of the rest of my rooms. Seeing the featured dojos with entirely decorated or themed rooms is amazing, but I don't have the vision to kit out every room I have. Should I still enter the contest, or is it not in the spirit of them to only enter with a few nice rooms? Some people might chew you out for entering with a couple, but like I said before in the prior video, if you can get 10 that you're proud of, go for it. You'll be fine. There aren't really questions, but more observations from Anarchy. However, I'm going to pull one little bit that he says here. He says, I believe a fully built dojo should have more appeal than a dojo with three-fourths of the rooms with grandiose designs. And I don't agree with you. Like, 10 good rooms can very much beat 128 mediocre ones. The like rooms definitely play a part in how you can win, really. Voice crack. But like it gets to a point where if you can show repeatedly that you have some amazing rooms, then that's going to trump someone with 50 more just meh rooms. Like I don't think that's a valid expectation when someone can demonstrate that they've done something better, I guess. I don't know. I just don't agree. Odin's daughter goes on to talk about concerns about hired builders versus not, and then dojos having repeatedly won with mechs or dragons or anime. Basically, people can be hired. That's not a sin. There was a dojo that we visited the other month where Ajin Gom was hired to go in and decorate like 4 of their rooms, and he did the 4 sacred beasts, except he did it in a way that no one's ever done before, and it was amazing, to be honest. He did it phenomenally. But it's funny. It's not outlawed. It's obviously a thing that can happen, but it's just hilarious to walk through that dojo per se and see the 4 incredibly high quality rooms that he worked on, and then to just see the juxtaposition between those rooms and then like the bare bones minimum rooms that the clan owners did, and it's just hilarious because it's like, I know there's no way you made this compared to everything else. It's just not possible. And so you can hire other people to win, and that clan in this case secured a 3rd place win, but it's just embarrassing to a degree sometimes. That's probably what I would say. As for the mech dragon anime rant, that's something that I really wish people would shut up about. Not every winning dojo has a dragon. You don't need a dragon or a sculpt to win. Okay, you can unclench on that one. I'm not necessarily aiming at you, Odin's daughter, with that. It's just I've seen so many people cry about this. You don't need that. There are 2, we'll say, schools of decorating. There's sculpting and then there's architecture. And with those, like you don't need to be one in order to win. You can be great at either. You can have phenomenal architecture and spank any sculpture. But if you're able to do both, your chances are that much higher. And I just wish people would just relax, because maybe a dojo won and it has a dragon, but then you're like completely ignoring everything else that made them have a valid entry. And then it's moronic. You're blinding yourself over a dumb penis neck dragon, and I don't understand why. But yeah, I don't know. That's me. Perzel said, it seems like starting fresh is a very tall mountain to climb compared to other clans that have prior decorations they can build upon and fall back on. Meanwhile, a first timer does not. Yes and no, because most of the old shit that they're falling back on is shit. It's not good. You have access to much better decorations to do what you want to do, and you have much better tools and techniques available. You can easily outdo them. That shouldn't be a concern. Knowing how and when contests are started would be nice to know. It's super confusing. They literally give you an in-game notification that pops up on your news, so you can just click on it and then favorite it. I don't understand. Does DE judge dojos by the submitted media, or do they actually visit them too? I can't say. Do clans apply with commissioned builds? All the time. Wouldn't seem fair if someone's dojo centerpiece is built by a third party. It wouldn't, but there's no way to stop it either. Like, you can't stop that at all. How is humor factored in, and how do you compare a big mech to a comedic scene? I don't think you can. But how is humor factored in? Diet Choke submitted, I don't even remember what contest. It was just a Rickroll bait video in the dojo, and he just wanted to Rickroll Helen. He wasn't after a win. He's already won first. And he just submitted a Rickroll video in the dojo, and he got second. But he I don't feel like he did that much between his old entry. It hadn't been that long. He thought it was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious. We all did. But it just Rickroll won him a contest, got him that silver trophy. So as for how humor is factored in, there's no concrete way to put it, but it exists. If you do some funny shit, it's probably going to help. Dariel77 says, some clans do not deserve victories. 3 good rooms with the rest of the dojo vanilla should not qualify you to even be a contestant. Not necessarily. I understand the sentiment, but if you have a few good rooms over a lot of shitty ones, like that still makes a difference. I kind of said this earlier. What I do not like about dojos, there are a bunch of art pieces like museums. Here's a section on Orokin, here's a section with line art on Mona Lisa, and then we have a single Orokin ring in open space for Vash specifically. Fuck you. Also, if the complex ideas are stolen from their original owners without any rework to make them different or unique to your dojo, that should be an automatic disqualification. How would you track it? That would be my issue. If you want to know my exact thoughts on copying in the dojo, I have a video which I will now link somewhere on this screen right about now, somewhere, yeah. And you can go and watch that, because that's like 8 minutes of me ranting about it that don't belong in this video. Shadow Talons goes on to say a lot. They don't seem like they're very happy. They essentially say they're self-deprecating, essentially. I dislike it. Shadow, the only person calling your stuff shit is yourself, so you should stop that. And then the other thing you say about it seems very much like DE takes a small batch of fancy screenshots and that's it, is not true. Like, that's not how it works. Just do your best and enter. If you win, then that's great. But if not, you shouldn't be shitting on yourself and saying that they're only going off of a couple fancy screenshots. Or else I would have won. I would have gotten first place if that's the case. Lump goes on to hop on the angry dragon train, or the bad dragon train maybe. But as I covered earlier, sculpts do not determine the contest. If you're able to do sculpts, that helps. If you're able to do both sculpts and architecture, then you're going to be several steps ahead of everyone else. But it's not a determining factor. But otherwise, I think that's it for the actual questions that were asked that I feel deserved an answer. There was no cow onesie this time because there's nothing special this time. You guys want the onesie? Do something special. You guys can figure it out.